Welcome back to the Ollis Show. I'm your host, Timothy Ollis, the one and only. And this is a podcast. This is a show where we discuss everything navigating life in your 20s, early 20s, whether that's 21, 22, 23. We do not discriminate. Even if you're 29, guys, we don't discriminate. This is just a real talk. That's the Real Talk podcast that we're talking about. But I am glad to be back, guys. I hope you guys are excited for today's episode and for what we're going to discuss today. That was a hard word to get out. For what? Oh my gosh. Guys, you wouldn't believe that English is my first language, as in my first and probably my only well-spoken language. Isn't this embarrassing in my 20s? But anyways, guys, I hope you all are excited. Last week, we had a good episode, guys. We had a really good episode. We were discussing everything friendships. If you have not already checked that, check in, link in, guys. Watch that episode. It was very intentional. That was the key word, the key phrase from last week. And we had a really great time discussing everything friendships, how to let go of friendships, how friendships are benefiting us, are we appreciating our friends, all of that kind of stuff, last week's episode. So make sure you go and check that out. And before we get into anything, subscribe. Subscribe. Like, this is so rude. Like, how can we start and I have not told you guys to subscribe? Guys, subscribe. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you are watching on Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star rating. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. All of our social medias. Instagram is the Ollis TV, but everything else is the Ollis Show. TheOS wait, God have mercy. TheOLLISSHOW. Guys, I ate that up. Did I not? Did I not eat that up? Everything else is the Ollis Show, but Instagram is Ollis TV. Make sure you give us a follow, like our videos, check it out, guys. We are really trying here to provide y'all with the food that y'all need to eat. Let's get into the weekly catch up. Let's get into it. I just wanted to talk about what I've been up to this week. This week was a week of Christmas. We're going to put it to one side because I have something more interesting to talk about. But guys, I've been watching this show called Top Boy. I'm not sure if anyone else has watched it, but it's a really, really, really good show. Like, if you know me, I'm a TV show addict. Period. Like, I love TV shows. I've watched so many, and you know what? That's going to be an episode in itself. Over COVID, I think I watched 30 shows. Guys, I should not be proud of it, like admitting that. Like, that's embarrassing. I watched over 30 shows, and I have a list on my phone. Yes, I have a list on my phone of all my favorite TV shows and all the ones I've really enjoyed watching. And right now, what's on the top of my show? I think Greenleaf. Y'all who watch Greenleaf know Greenleaf is the OG. Is a really good show. And then TVD is there, and all those kind of shows. Like, guys, anyways, I'm getting carried away because I'm excited to talk about this. But I watch Top Boy, and I don't really like British TV. Like, I won't lie, guys. Apart from me having my passport and being in this country, a lot of my identity isn't really even British. Like, but I watched this British TV show. I watched Top Boy, and I was not expecting to like it. But guys, that show, I've not added it to my list yet, but that show is going near the top 5. I have to be honest. It's going near the top 5. That show was so flipping interesting. Oh my gosh. From Duchesne. Oh my gosh. I don't like Duchesne. Sorry for anyone who wants to watch the show. This might be a little bit of a spoiler, but flipping Duchesne should flipping go and drown in the flipping river. Period. I do not like Duchesne. Like, Duchesne was so irritating. Like, what the heck was wrong with him? Every single time you're out here, like, how are you 37 years old and you haven't got anything patterned? Like, nothing is patterned. The business is not patterned. You don't have a relationship. Your mother don't even like you. Your brother is fighting with you. God forbid. Duchesne was out here in these streets giving everyone proper migraines. I was sitting watching him. I was just like, what is this man doing? Let him be. Jamie, I'm not sure why he had to die. Like, honestly, it was so frustrating. I watched it and I saw him die. I was just like, they always do this kind of nonsense. And Jamie dying was just so irrelevant to me. I was just like, why did that boy have to die? He was the one I was actually watching the show for. Very interesting storyline. And then Sully. Sully was... How do I describe Sully? Sully was just an irritation. Sully was just irritating. Like, it was so irritating to see him. I did not like Sully. He was so violent and so angry, and I feel like he had like almost like a redemption, and then he just ended up by going to kill Jamie. Like, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to do that? And that even links into what we're going to talk about today. Men will show you them like improving, only to turn around and go back to the vomit that they left behind, girl. Embarrassing. Sully was just such a disappointment. Like, I did not like Sully. And then Shelly, I really liked Shelly. I thought she was really pretty, but I realized, guys, this is so embarrassing. I did not know that she was Little Sims. Oh my gosh, guys, Little Sim was there. Dave was there. Dave was paying, and what's that name? He looked flipping scary, guys. He looked like a zombie. What was his name? The guys who have watched it will know what his name was. I can't remember his name, but he looked like a zombie. After they burned his eye off, they burned that eye off to a crisp. That eye was gone. That eye was got. It was gone. Oh my gosh. Oof, child, they got him real good there, but his eye was gone, and he looked like a zombie. That's all I have to say about Dave, but he ate that roll up. I just can't remember his name. Anyways, guys, I'm getting carried away, but anyways, if you have not watched Top Boy, I highly recommend. It's a really good show. And overall, my break has been really good, guys. Christmas has been such an amazing time to spend with family. Honestly, I was not too fussed about the Christmas spirit. I feel like every year I try and find that spirit, but that spirit doesn't want to find me. And you know what I've come to understand as a spiritual person? Any spirit that doesn't want to find you, you can rebuke it. Honestly, guys, feel free to rebuke that spirit. And honestly, I was realizing this spirit is not coming to me, so I'm rebuking it. So I started to rebuke that Christmas flipping spirit, that useless spirit. Like, I'm looking around the streets, everyone's festive. I don't feel festive inside, guys. So why the heck am I going to try and force it, you know? So I did not really find the Christmas spirit, but what I did find was my family, and we had a nice meal, which was great, and I really had a good time. Like, our Christmas dinner was very cute. Like, we had the mac and cheese, we had the sprouts, even though I didn't eat it. We had the broccoli, even though I didn't eat it. We had the corn, I ate that one though. And what else? We had the potatoes. It was very cute. And yeah, guys, it was a nice break. And that's a bit of my week. How has your week been, guys? Let me know. That person who you were talking to, have they replied to your message? Have they replied? That friend who you said you're going to catch up with for coffee, have you went to meet them? That gift you said you're going to get for your mother, have you gotten it for her? Those assignments that you needed to do, have you done them? I'm just playing, guys. I'm really just joking. But I hope you guys have all had an amazing Christmas break and a nice relaxing time. And yeah, that's been the weekly catch up. Let's get into the discussion for today. Okay, guys, so the discussion and what we wanted to discuss today was everything to do with love, intimacy, and relationships. Guys, I know this is a tender topic, a tender topic for some of y'all, but this is something we had to discuss, guys. Yes, we had to discuss it. And I feel like it links really well with what we looked at last week. Last week, we looked at all of the friendship kind of stuff. Now we have to talk about the real ish, the real je ne sais quoi. Oh god, I can't speak French. Let me leave it. But relationships, and I guess the first point I wanted to discuss around this was being intentional with who you choose to settle down with, or who you choose to have a short-term, long-term relationship with. It's so important that we can choose our partners correctly. I guess I'm speaking. Is it sympathetically? Is it empathetic? Is whenever you've been through something. And then sympathetic is whenever you haven't. I'm speaking sympathetically, guys, because I'm not in a relationship. I'm speaking sympathetically as your older brother here. Be intentional of who you give that energy to. Like, it's so flipping important. And honestly, I feel like the key thing that hit me whenever I was thinking about what to discuss around this area was taking Panadol for someone else's headache. Are we taking Panadol for somebody else's headache? As in, are we putting ourselves in positions where we are stressed out for someone else's bullcrap? Guys, let that seep in for a second. Are we actually putting ourselves in positions where we're not getting frustrated? That business idea that you had, that's nails with Vicky. That's hair by Michaela. That business idea that you're setting up, have you started it, or is that useless boy in your flipping DMs giving you WYD? Is he the one who's stressing you out? You can't do anything. Those assignments that are piling up, those essays that they need you to do, that 2,000 word count. Are you hitting it? Or are you giving those words to that useless boy in your Snapchat messages? So that's the main thing that hit me around this topic. Where are we devoting our energy to? Are we giving our energy to the right things? Are we being intentional with the people we put in our lives? And I guess this is going to be the 3 bullet points of, what are we going to call it? We have to give it a fancy name. We have to give it a fancy name. The Ollis Chronicles. The 3 Ollis Chronicles. Period. The 3 Ollis Chronicles of intentionality. Period. That sounds really bougie. But I guess the first one about how to be intentional is, does this person bring value into my life? And I guess that's the first thing we can discuss. Does this person that you're trying to be interested in, are they bringing value into your situation? Are they bringing value into your life? What does that look like? Are they supporting you in whatever business idea that you're trying to set up? Are they supporting you academically? That doesn't mean are they doing the homework for you, girl. Like, I'm not asking you to go and date a dictionary, you know? Like, at the end of the day, are they giving you that time to work? You know, are they understanding what your work schedule looks like? Working around that in terms of trying to see you, giving you and providing that support in those areas. Are they adding value that enables you to hit your goals? Because I guess that's one thing I've come to understand with relationships. You have your goals, your partner has their goals as well, and you guys will form a common goal together whenever you try and form a life together. But for you to get to those common goals, you both individually need to be hitting your goals. So that means that whenever you finally get to those stages where you've accomplished what you need to accomplish individually, you can then link those things easier together. You know, I'm not a big fan of, from the instant that you guys meet, you start joining things out. Start doing joint bank accounts, knowing that you have -5p in your bank account. Yeah, now coming to join with this boy. You know, at the end of the day, like, are we actually hitting our personal individual goals before we say that we want to settle down? And we need to assess that from the point of view of, are they adding value into my life that's helping me be better at these things I need to do? That's the first Ollis Chronicle. The second Ollis Chronicle. What's the second Ollis Chronicle? Guys, I don't know. These, you would think I'm writing these down, guys. These are coming to my head. But I guess the second one is, in top of value, is this person helping me become a better person? Are they helping me become, like, are they actually improving me? Not necessarily monetarily, not necessarily academically, you know, but are they actually helping me become a better person and actually helping that whole self-care cycle that we have going on? I know some of y'all don't believe in that self-care, but self-care is a topic we're going to discuss another time. But it's really, really important to have like some standard of care for yourself as an individual, whether that is waking up early, going on a run, or Pilates. You know, like, I know the bougie girls be doing Pilates, you know, or, you know, walking around, whatever the case may be. Having some kind of schedule is really important, and that links into your skincare, your hair care. That links into like reading, meditating, all of that kind of stuff. I'm not saying go and do all of this stuff, guys. I definitely don't do all those kind of stuff, but having something that works for you, that you makes you feel better within yourself, is really important. Because you can't wake up in the morning, guys, and actually just be like, okay, I'm going to start my day. You know, that doesn't make sense. You need to have some process that gets you to a position where you feel good to start your day, and that's healthy, you know, like, because there is more to it than just waking up in the morning and starting your day. Our bodies and our minds actually need a process by which we can feel ready. I guess the readiness cycle, so that we can feel ready to start our day, you know, and that all links into like that process of self-care, etc. And the question that links in with this relationship is this helping my healthcare cycle? You know, is this person supplementing that very well? You know, like, are we creating healthy boundaries where, you know, okay, I understand this person is going to go to work here, or I understand this person's in the gym here, and I'm giving them that space to work on themselves, or I'm recommending this book, or I'm putting them in a healthier position. Remove all the academics, remove all the money stuff, remove all the business stuff. Am I helping this person to become a better person? Am I calling them out, you know, in terms of like the stuff that they have going on, that they're not, those bad habits, you know? Talking about bad habits, guys, it's so funny. I was watching The Ultimatum. I did tell you guys I was a TV show junkie. Like, honestly, I was watching The Ultimatum, and that was the most hilarious, nonsensical idiots I was going to say idiotical, but I don't think that's a word. But the show was so stupid because I was just watching. I was just like, this doesn't make sense. These couples are coming into this place and they are bringing ultimatums. If you have to bring an ultimatum to somebody, guys, let me not lie to you, but that person is not for you. If you're saying to your boyfriend, or your boyfriend is telling you, oh, I want to get married, and you're like, and then they have to give you an ultimatum, screw it, it's done. Because let me tell you, there's only two outcomes that can result from that. And this is what was going through my head whenever I watched that show. There's only two outcomes that can result from that kind of situation. Either they say they want to marry you, and now in the back of your head, you're like, wait, do you actually want to marry me? Or did I actually force you to? No, girl, you forced him to. You forced him to. Like, he never wanted to marry you, girl, but now he's forced. He feels like he has some pressure, or he's been without you for a while and he feels like he wants to marry you. That's not how you know you want to get married to somebody, you know. Or they say they don't want to marry you and you've screwed up your relationship anyways, guys, you know. So like, that show I was just watching, I was just like, this does not make sense. And I watched this South Africa one. And tell me, that Kanye girl was a flipping demon. Oh my gosh, it was just so hilarious to watch. But that was kind of what I was thinking in terms of like relationships. Are we actually doing things which are going to benefit us like holistically and allow us to become better people, you know? Because that show was an example of where every single person was becoming worse, you know, in their relationships, whether it was before coming in or after. The relationships were just declining, just flipping declining, guys. But that's the second Ollis Chronicle. Are they helping you become a better person holistically? God have mercy. Holistically, are they helping you become a better person? If so, then you can keep them. If not, you can cut them off. Period. And then the third one. What's the third one? Let me see. The third Ollis Chronicle can be reciprocal. That's the word that came to my mind. Are we having reciprocal relationships with our partners? And whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever the case may be, are we having reciprocal relationships? And I guess that looks like, are we giving the energy we're giving? Is it being reciprocated? The energy they're giving, are we reciprocating it back? And this is something I've noticed amongst like my situations and then my friends as well. Like, the level or the energy that someone gives you is a direct correlation to how much they value you as a person, period. So whether they are giving you that message, they're sending you those messages, but they never want to see you, you know, that directly links to how valuable you are to them as a person. And you need to make up a decision in your mind. Are you comfortable at that level of value that they're putting you out? You know, sometimes you might not even see that person as important to you, so y'all are a perfect match. You know, but if you're expecting more, then you need to cut off those kind of relationships which are not satisfying you in those ways that you want to be satisfied. Period. You need to cut those relationships off, you know, because I am a true believer that your level of energy that you're putting into something needs to be completely matched on the other side with the level of energy they're putting in as well. And that's how things can move faster. That's how y'all can both grow, because you're directly putting in 100% each. There was one quote that I heard someone mention, which was in terms of like, relationships are not 50-50, they're 100-100, where you both put in 100%. And I think that's a really good representation of what relationships should be looking like in terms of how much energy you put inside. Y'all should both be putting 100%. Are they putting 75%? Well, then you need to go back to your calculator, girl, and calculate where that 25% is going. Where is that extra 25% going? Because if it's not going to you, girl, then you got to cut it off. Period. And for the men too, that goes for your girlfriend as well. You know, like, are you putting in more energy and she's not putting in as much? Then you got to do the same thing too. You got to cut it off. Period. You know, and that's, I guess, the third Ollis Chronicle. You know, the three Ollis Chronicles. The first one, value. The second one, are they helping you become a good person? The third one, reciprocality. Yeah, that's the word, reciprocality. But yeah, guys, that's the small chapter that I had. You know, like, I like to categorize things so that things flow easier. And I feel like this is just the short word that allows us to grow. Because trust me, guys, it's not flipping easy. These flipping idiots will be here sending you oh my gosh, WYD. Guys, we have to rebuke every spirit of WYD in 2025. Your man is messaging you WYD, and you're looking at your phone. Oh my gosh, he messaged me, girl. Turn that phone off and go and pray. Turn that phone off, go and meditate. Go turn that phone off and go and do some flipping skincare. You're happy over WYD. That's a flipping embarrassing, guys. And then they'll say, oh, WYD, HBU. Oh my gosh, guys, we have to rebuke that kind of energy entering into 2025, because that's embarrassing. It's not only embarrassing, but like, it's just not productive. You mean to tell me that you didn't have enough energy to even type out the what are you doing? You have to write WYD. God forbid. God forbid. We rebuke that. That's ridiculous. And also, in terms of like even just relationships as well, guys, like honestly, are we actually like taking in too much than we need to be? I.e., are we allowing the stress and the nonsense of our partners impact our self-care cycle? Are we taking Panadol for someone else's headache? Because if we are, guys, we need to stop it. We need to really stop and drop that energy in 2025. We're going to have an episode talking about our resolutions and what we're dropping, what we're bringing into 2025. But that's definitely one of them. Are we taking Panadol for someone else's headache? That girl that he's messaging, that he's cheating on you with, are you here crying over that situation? You can't go to bed. Insomnia. Guys, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, guys. Let's leave the Panadol. Let's leave the relationship, and let's go and find our self-care cycle. Moving on to the next stage. The next thing we're going to be discussing. We have some dilemmas. Woo! Can everyone give a round of applause? A round of applause. Yeah, period. Guys, whenever we have the budget for a live audience, trust and believe, someone will be clapping. Okay, guys, so we are now moving on to the next section. I have some dilemmas here. These have not been sent in. These are from Reddit. And we're going to look at some of the Reddit dilemmas, guys, and hopefully we can give some useful and constructive feedback, period. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh no. Okay, some of y'all be writing books. Some of y'all are writing books. And I am not an author. I'm not going to be reading this. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, we have a relationship dilemma. This one's a bit interesting. Okay. It says, my 45... what does that mean? Wife... Oh, okay. So basically, I am a 45-year-old male. Let's restart this, guys. Let's restart. I am a 45-year-old male. My wife, 29 female, just found out she's pregnant. I had a vasectomy 10 years ago. I had a vasectomy during my first marriage. My ex and I had 3 kids. We were done. It just made sense. I got married last year after 3 years of dating. My wife has never given me any indication to believe she's cheating. In fact, she's an extremely loyal, attentive spouse. To top it all off, I work from home. I literally don't know when she would have the time to have an affair unless she was doing it at work. We always have our locations on our iPhones, and I have noticed no secretive or suspicious behavior. When we first found out she was When we first found out, she was incredibly shocked, but ultimately very happy, and said in tears that she guessed the vasectomy had failed. I've Googled it. We're looking at about a 1% probability that this happened. So basically, I have 2 choices. I ask my wife for a paternity test and either have my suspicions confirmed and my marriage over, or her trust in me shattered, or I say nothing and live with this gnawing suspicion until our child is born and I can quietly perform a paternity test. I am so torn up about this, and my wife is already planning the nursery, and I am sitting here wondering if I should be hating her or myself. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, I don't know even what to say about that one. That is deep. That's very, very deep. Oh my gosh. Um, should he do, guys? What should he do? Oh my gosh, I feel like this is a very tough situation to be in. And like my first thing is I'm an investigator. I am going to investigate. Firstly, I'm going to do my own investigations. I might even hire a private investigator. We might even look into it a bit further, you know. But honestly, I recommend investigating. Firstly, investigate and look at all those locations. Look at those locations and see, has she been going anywhere abnormal, and calculate and work it back. So if she's pregnant by 4 weeks, say she's 4 weeks pregnant, and she gets that confirmed in the test, etc, then work 4 weeks back. Where was she 4 weeks ago? You know, try and work it back, guys. You can figure it out yourself. Like, I truly believe we're all our own personal investigators and private investigators, if we can really put that hat on, quite literally, you know. So I would definitely look at those locations. The second thing I would do is just, you know, kind of just read her. Like, honestly, she may give it away without even saying anything. So read her, read the body language, because categorically a woman who is, you know, who's just gotten pregnant by another person isn't going to be really wanting to be around you too much. Like, the physical touch might not be there, and if you know her love language is physical touch and is not giving that anymore, then you can kind of be like, oh, something's changed in our dynamic. So you can read her, and you know, you can figure it out that way, and just kind of see how things are going. That's my main thing. Investigate it first. That would be my main advice. And you know, some people can hide this stuff really well. If it's all aligning, then our God is a miracle worker. Like, he can work a miracle. Like, that 1% probability could be your child. Also, I have another question. 45 and 29, guys. Oh my gosh. What do you guys think about all these age gap relationships? Honestly, I don't know what to think. Like, I don't know what to think, because my main issue, well, I don't want to say issue, because I don't try and give myself issue. I don't take Panadol for someone else's headache. Like, honestly. So my main speculation about this is just whenever people started dating, because I think in this case here, if she was 28, or like they said they started dating 3 years ago, so she would have been 26, right? And he would have been 42. So 26 and 42 is still an age gap, but like 26, you're an adult, and like, you know, but that's a difficult navigation. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, girl, I don't know what to say, but ooh, this is really messy, because if she's dating someone older, like if she found herself a young boyfriend, oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear this, daddy. I'm sorry to hear this for you, daddy of 3 kids. Daddy, I'm sorry. She may have found herself a little boy who's her age, and they might be trying to start a family. They might be, and you might be the sugar daddy. You didn't mention how much money is in your bank account. You might be looking at the bank account, and you're looking at the locations. Honestly, guys, we have to really be intentional of who we choose to be in relationships with, because some people are actually in it for the long run. She's only 26. You know, she could be here trying to do a scheme. You know, uncle, are you really looking at the situation, and what is the context of the relationship? I think we need a bit more context to kind of help us narrow down what's going on, you know. But honestly, I would investigate it first. I would speak to her and just be like, listen, I got a vasectomy, and well, she knows that you have a vasectomy, but like, I would speak to her and just read her like a book, you know. Some people are really interesting books whenever you sit down and read them. So honestly, I would sit down and read her and figure it out. If you're not getting any signs, then I would trust in her. That is a miracle, but I would still do a paternity test, and I would do it quietly, because, you know, trust is important, but at the same time, this situation is a bit like you kind of have to do it for your own sanity, and you know, just find out, because at the end of the day, you have 3 kids, so you kind of have to prioritize that situation. And you know, you don't obviously want to be here with a wife who's unfaithful. That affects your relationship with your kids, so you kind of owe your children that respect of looking into it a bit more. I would still do the paternity test, but you might already get the answer by just investigating. That's my recommendation. Next dilemma. Let's see. Guys, Reddit is so good. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. Guys, let's see. What's the next dilemma? Oh my gosh, this sounds really sad. Um. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is really long. Some of you guys are really here writing novels. Like some of y'all are Jacqueline Wilson. Okay. Oh. Oh my gosh, this is juicy. But we're not gonna do that. That is a book. Okay, we have one here. Am I the asshole for asking my partner not to talk about our relationship issues to his family? Sorry for the length of this. I think context is important, and I'm struggling to format it on my mobile. Girl, you gotta try. You gotta really try, because this is a book, but we're gonna get through it. It says, I am a 24-year-old female. I have asked my boyfriend, 24-year-old male, several times to stop venting our relationship issues to his family, particularly his mom. For context, we both live out of state from our families and friends, and haven't been able to plant solid roots and find community where we live together now. So I know it's getting lonely. It gets lonely. Like there's not much of a support system here. This all started several months ago when I started feeling like his family were treating me differently than they used to. I felt like suddenly they were cold towards me at family gatherings, and like they didn't want me there, which hadn't always been the case. I felt like it was because he calls his mom to talk about our problems when when he's upset with me, and she hears all the bad and not so much of the good, so she may think like I'm the worst girlfriend or something. I asked him not to do that anymore, and I thought it was done. Fast forward to the other night. We live in a big city where I often take the train to work, but on Thursdays I work late, and he usually picks me up so I don't have to take the train alone at night. I heard his mom's voice through the CarPlay as I got close and didn't think anything of it. He must not have seen me approaching, because when I opened the car door, he kind of panicked and said my name, and she said, oh my gosh, this is a lot, and said my name, and got in the car. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is a lot. Oh, guys, I'm really trying. English is my first language. This is ridiculous. Okay, so she got into the car and he panicked and he said, let's say her name is Caitlin. He said, Caitlin just got in the car. I'm going to let you go. So this is what he said to his mom. Okay. And she was on speaker, so heard her say goodbyes, and she didn't address me at all, which is weird because my boyfriend always uses the phone on speaker. So I'm often there, and she always addresses me, at least say hi and be polite. I asked if there were some issues in our relationship that he hadn't expressed to me yet, and he told me that he's just venting. But his mom always tells everyone in their family everyone's personal business, and has recently even made a point at a family function to tell me that all of her sons call her a B word about their significant others. That is a lot of words. It honestly kind of felt malicious, but that's beside the point. I reinstated my boundary that I'm not cool with him airing our dirty laundry to his family, and he agreed to it, but only after guilting me about how that's his only support system and making me feel like I'm isolating him from his family. So is this an unreasonable request? Am I the asshole? Firstly, you need to paragraph your words. Because auntie, I'm really struggling here. This is one big blurb of words, and I'm really trying to. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the issue that he's having. He can't read your messages, girl, because you're not paragraphing and bullet pointing. Because this was giving me a migraine. Anyways, no, I don't think she's the asshole. I really don't. And I think a lot of this comes from, like looking into the relationship. You have to actually understand. Oof. That's a lot of movement going on outside. Let's calm it down. Anyways, I really think looking into the type of relationship you have, firstly, like this is your I think you just mentioned this is your partner. You didn't tell us if it was your fiance or your boyfriend or whatever the case may be. But if this is obviously a very serious relationship, I think that these kind of things need to be discussed firstly within you guys as a relationship, as a group, whatever the case, as partners, before you discuss it with family. And then even inside that discussion you have with yourselves, you can kind of navigate if you want to tell family if it's something serious enough, or if you get to the bottom of it, you might not even need to. And that's where I think it's healthiest to kind of, discuss amongst yourselves, come to a resolution amongst yourselves, and then discuss with family if it needs to be discussed with family. But I don't think family should be the first person you're going to. I don't think that's healthy at all, because you're in a relationship, and if you have trust, and I think that's a bigger discussion, that he doesn't trust you. I don't think he trusts you to bring it to you first, or it could be a situation where he trusts his mother more than you. He prioritizes his mother's opinion about how to handle the situation more than he trusts your opinion about how to handle it, which isn't good, because at the end of the day, we're not trying to date people here who are in relationships with their parents. And that goes both ways. Whether you're the woman and you have your dad, and you're going to your dad about the issues, whatever the case may be, or you're going to your mom, whatever the case may be, we're not trying to be dating our parents whenever we're trying to have a partner. That isn't healthy. So I really think that you need to have to sit down with him and not discuss the issue that he was talking about. It could be anything. It's irrelevant now. The issue at hand is, why aren't you bringing these issues to me first? And get your priorities organized and sorted. We're both living in this city. We're both in isolated positions. We're both lonely, and we are each other's support system. That should be sufficient. And if it's not, let's discuss that issue and bring it to an end where it needs to be brought to an end, period. And I think that's the discussion that you need to have with him. And that would be my main advice. Sit down with him and tell him this is not comfortable and this is not healthy. And if you can't get to a point where you come to a common ground about how you're going to move on, then maybe it's time for you to separate. Because honestly, my mindset in regards to this kind of stuff, guys, is there's deal breakers, and this is honestly a deal breaker. Because if you're going to progress and you can't, because there's a couple of things which are guaranteed in a relationship. One of them is that y'all are probably going to stay together. You're all going to be around each other for a long time. The second thing that's guaranteed is you're going to have disagreements, and if you can't find a healthy way to live together and also have these disagreements, then it might be time to cut it in the bud and nip it off, period. It might be time to cut it off, because disagreements are always going to happen. And if he's only going to his mom about these issues, that's only going to detriment your relationship together, because you're not working through these issues. And it's also going to be a detriment to your relationship with his family, and that's also really important, especially if you want to get married, etc., so it's a deal breaker. It's a really big issue. And if he's not ready to change and bring them to you first and have those discussions, and being transparent, then I think in a healthy self-care cycle way, we gotta cut him off, child. We gotta cut it off, period. Because it's not healthy. It's not a healthy way of navigating relationships. And maybe trying to play both sides, trying to understand his perspective. It might not be his fault, like it may be a case where he might be coming from a single parent household where his mom has been his only support system, so he's just used to going to his mom about these kind of issues. And I don't think that's a negative thing. I think it's just a redirection type of thing. He's now got to start redirecting his issues about the relationship to you, because you're becoming the most important person in his life as of now. So it might just be a case where you just need to talk to him and just kind of make him feel a bit more comfortable to confide in you any issues he's having. And it might not be a big deal, if anything, it could be something that you both need to work on, and over time it gets better, But if it is a case where there are significant trust issues, you might need to consider potentially leaving this relationship if you see it going further and it's not giving you that kind of energy, period. But yeah, those are two really interesting dilemmas. I think we came to good resolutions about these dilemmas, but I am more oh my gosh guys, I'm trying here. I am really trying. The English is not working. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm interested to know what you guys think about these dilemmas. If you have any comment opinions, please let me know, guys. Put them inside the comments. Let me know, because I'm really intrigued to see what you guys have to say. Like, honestly, I think I have my perspective on things, but I'm so interested to see other points of views and try and improve, because that's the point of this podcast. Like, as much as we laugh and we giggle and we talk about the mess and the 15% of nonsense that we talk about in terms of the hot tea, we are here with the purpose to grow, and I'm growing as much from it, like discussing this, as I hope you guys are growing from hearing what I have to say as well. So please let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about these issues. What would you do if you're the man in that situation and you had a vasectomy and your wife is now saying she's pregnant? And what would you do if you're the girlfriend and your boyfriend is talking about all of your issues to his mom and not to you? Yikes. Anyways, guys, we have the hot tea. We're going to talk about the hot tea very, very briefly, and then we're going to move on to the closing because I got to get home. So, hot tea. So for our first hot tea situation, guys, I have... That was very rude and very not demure. That was not nice. Oh my gosh. I don't understand how people ride motorcycles like that, guys. Just creating noise. That is a pain. That has got to be eliminated. Oof, yikes. Anyways, so for the topics of hot tea, of mess that I came across this week, guys, it's been flipping crazy. Y'all know I love podcasts. I just love listening to podcasts as much as I love making my own podcast. I listen to podcasts a lot, and I love cocktails and takeaways, guys. This is some free promo, but I love cocktails and takeaways. I love Madame Joyce. I think she's really funny, and I think I like authenticity, and I think she's very authentic. Even though she can be messy, I just love authenticity, and I think she's very authentic. But speaking about Madame Joyce, she has got the girls irritated. The Nigerian girls have been irritated because I saw the Snapchat story, and she's in Nigeria. If you don't know, during this time of year, Dirty December is very prominent in Nigeria. Basically, where a lot of people in their 20s will go to Nigeria and Ghana and basically go to clubs, just party down. And there's a lot of nuance that goes around there in terms of like the ballers. The ballers will buy a table and all the girls are looking pretty. It's a lot going on. But typically all the Nigerian, British influencers, not even Nigerian, but like the Nigerian Ghanaians, Jamaicans, all of them, they tend to go to Nigeria for Dirty December. Madame Joyce is also part of those ones who just went to Nigeria for Dirty December. And she irritated the Nigerian girls, as in the Nigerian girls who live in Nigeria. Because bear in mind, you have the American Nigerians and Africans coming into the scene. You have the British Nigerians. You have everyone in the scene. Then you have the Nigerian Nigerians who live there. And she commented on her story. She was like, I don't understand why whenever I come into the scene, I get invited to a table, like nobody says hi. Like I always introduce, but no one even gives me energy back. And she's just like, I understand I'm very high profile. High profile being the phrase in question. She said, I understand I'm very high profile, but like I'm always trying to be. And I'm just like, I love Madame Joyce because she's flipping real. Of course she's high profile. Like what the heck? I'm high profile too. If you see me step in the scene looking all clean, make sure you say hi. Period. But honestly, that word irritated the girls, and they were just like, we don't know who you are. Like, how are we supposed to come and say, like, as in that video alone got, like, I was looking at it on TikTok, guys. It got so many retweets, all of that kind of stuff. People were making videos about it, crying and screaming. My opinion about this is, how are you going to tell somebody that they're high profile or not? How are you going to tell, like, how are you going to say that? Like, if she feels high profile, she's high profile. The heck? And to be quite honest, Madame Joyce is becoming well known, period. Like, she's really becoming well known in her scene. And, the girl is high profile. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, she's high profile. And I feel like high profile a lot for me stems from confidence. I'm stepping in the scene, I feel high profile, period. And how are you going to tell me that I'm not high profile? You know, I will say, understanding the Nigerian girl's perspective, I will say you can't expect the Nigerian girls to just know who you are like that. Like, it doesn't work like that, especially Nigeria. Nigeria is not that type of place. Like, me as a Nigerian who goes back to Nigeria regularly, if you come outside, people are not going to even bat one eye at you. Better come and respect yourself. That's my main thing. You're not coming here to do you know, you respect yourself. You come here, you do your thing. Whoever notices you. You keep it to yourself. Nigerians love one thing, which is humility. And if you come into the scene, like, they love humility. Like, they love seeing everyone is being humble and sticking in their lane, running the race, you know. But whenever, like, in themselves, they do like to be prideful, you know. So even if they do know who you are, they're not going to do too much, you know, because they like to see that everyone is keeping to their self, you know. Stay in your place and run your race. That's what the Nigerian girls love to see. And I feel like that's what irritated them whenever they saw Madame Joyce, you know, in this high profile situation. But I respect it. Like, honestly, my perspective is like, somebody who comes in here and says, I'm that girl, how are you going to tell them that they're not that girl? If you are that girl, you're going to have to say you're that girl. You're going to say you're the it girl, period. You have to claim it. It's not a title that's given. You claim it, period. So I understand both sides, and I just think that's just how the penny rolls, you know. You can't get angry at Madame Joyce. I really do like Madame Joyce. You know, one day, in fact, I'm praying one day I will be at that level, if not higher, period. We're going places. This podcast this is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. But yeah. And the next one I have on my list, as you can see, I went down there to look at it. But the next one I have here is Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande, I feel like this is just a discussion because, you know, people love to talk about people and talk about their way, how they look. And I know this was kind of like an old topic, you know, but honestly, I don't feel like anyone should ever comment on how anyone looks, period. You know, that's not your business. If they're really skinny in your eyes, that's your perspective. Keep it to yourself. If they look bigger in one eye, then keep it to yourself. That's not your business, you know. Trust me, that person knows that they look different physically. They know, you know. Like, of course, if you do see signs, like, I do understand it because, you know, I do think we should help. Like, if you see people who are in a bit of a, there's a way you can phrase things that doesn't come across, you know, judgmental. So, like, you know, and I don't think that's the duty of the internet. That's the duty of friends and family, people who are close, who see this person regularly, to make those judgments, etc. But Ariana Grande, the girls have been saying that she looks real skinny, that she's on Ozempic, period. That's what they've been saying. And honestly, I don't think that's anyone's business. You know, I don't think that's anyone's business. You know, like, I think, you know, everyone can do what they want to do with their body, you know. That's their own business, and that's all I'm gonna say on it, because I don't think there's much that needs to be said. What I will say is I really did enjoy the whole Wicked. It was giving, like, honestly, it was giving. Alphaba, but he did not come here to play. She didn't come here to play with the girls. She didn't come to play with, like, honestly, like, defying gravity. On an outfly, defying gravity. She ate that up. Like, I just love that whole scene. I love both of them together, and I'm actually just wishing them the best, period. And if you have anything to say about her weight, shut up, period. Shut up. Nobody gives a heck. Keep it quiet, period. Next case, and this is, I think, the last one. Alabama Barker. Is it Barker or I think it's Barker, right? Alabama Barker. I've been seeing a lot of this girl on my page, and I actually kind of like her. I think she's like a vibe. Honestly, I just think she's a vibe, because I like people who are authentic. I like people who don't give a heck. I like people who just do what they do, you know. She's been stirring up mess, you know. If y'all know Bad Baby, Daniel Bergoli, Catch Me Outside, What About That, you know, you will know that, you know, she's very much been in the scene. She's a rapper girl. She does her OnlyFans. She has everything going on. But she's been sparking out controversy with Alabama Barker, because they've been saying that Alabama has been trying to take her man, and that's not very cute. Alabama. I won't lie, that's not very cute, especially because Mrs. Danielle is unfortunately suffering with cancer. So yeah, but I don't know what to say. I just have to say, like, I don't really know. I just wanted to give you all the hot mess and tea. This is like a forecast. I'm not gonna even speak too much, but yeah, I just hope that situation resolves itself. That's all I have to say, guys. We are not a tea podcast, but I feel like, I like to be realistic and talk about the kind of things that are going on, because I don't like inauthenticity. Like, let's be authentic. Let's talk about the real issues going on. Let's bring it to the forefront, and then y'all can make your minds up about the people who we talk about and how y'all want to stay connected to them, period. But yeah, I think that brings us, guys, to the end of today's episode. This episode has honestly been so interesting to film, and I just hope you guys enjoy it. Like, honestly, I really enjoyed us talking here. Like, I think, honestly, guys, starting and talking, like, sometimes you'll be like sitting down in the chair, you're like, you're trying to get yourself set, but whenever we get into it, we really get into it, guys. And I hope you guys have had a great time just understanding, listening to the podcast. And again, don't forget to give us a 5-star if you're listening on Spotify. It really, really, really does make a difference. So please do that. Subscribe, actually retweet, share it to your friends, and follow us. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're listening from YouTube. If you are watching us a clip on TikTok or Instagram, it doesn't really matter. Follow us on those platforms. Instagram is at Ollis TV. That's OLLIS TV. And then everything else is the Ollis Show. You can find us on the Ollis Show on TikTok. You can find us Ollis Show on Instagram. Everything. No, not on Instagram. Oh my gosh, guys, I think I gotta go. But thank you guys so much for watching. I have been Timothy Ollis. You can find me at Timothy Ollis on all platforms, and I will see you next week for another episode. Thank you and goodbye.